Okay, and we are live. All right. Mm, Let me just adjust this Instagram thing so we can start. Okay, okay. All right, never mind. So, yes, we are live. Welcome to another live stream. My name is Harsh. You are watching Esports and Information, and here we talk about the headlines from across the world. And So this is me reacting to the headlines from across the world. Let's see what does the world have today for us. Hmm. All right, we are going to start off with, as usual, some of the national and local news that need some recognition. All right, so the first piece of information is Center releases 1,39,750 crore installment of tax devolution to states. So under this GST tax regime that we have, the center collects some of the taxes from the states as well, and after keeping a cut for itself, the center again devolutes the collection of or the proceeds of taxes back to the states. So yeah, so for this month they have released somewhere close to 1.5 lakh crores of money. This will help them to plan their budgets accordingly, and they can use this money for various capital expenditure that they would wish for their own state. Okay, next up is I don't understand what this means, but regardless, I'll share it with you. Nokia makes the world's first cellular call using new immersive voice and audio services. Okay, so now that we have heard that we have some type of headphones that makes you feel like you're actually sitting in the concert when you wear those headphones. So now we have Nokia mobiles. They are introducing the same sort of technology to phone calls. So it would feel as if you are just sitting next to that person or talking to that person face to face while using this technology. So the exact name of the technology is Immersive Voice and Audio Services, IVAS Codec. All right, so they made the first video call in the world with this sort of service. And yeah, so here it says with Codec, you can hear calls in 3D spatial sound in real time instead of today's monophonic experience. So it is somehow designed to enhance your experience when you are talking to somebody on the phone. And yep, that's all there is. uh, Next up is, yes, in the previous live stream of reacting to the headlines, that is yesterday, we talked about how the vice president of Malawi, his aeroplane took off from the airport and it had been missing all this while. So yes, it has been discovered. It crashed in a forest, and there are no survivors. So unfortunately, the vice president of Malawi has passed away in a plane crash, and yep, the vice president of our country, that is Jagdeep Dhankar, he also put up a post on social media platform, that is X, to you know condole the event. Yep, the military plane carrying Chilima and nine others disappeared on Monday after it failed to land in the northern city of Zuzu due to bad weather and was told to return to the capital. All right, yes, all the other neighboring countries, they have also helped Malawi to look for the debris of the plane crash, and they were also helping with helicopters and drones. So it's a sad day, I would say, yes, and all the prayers to the families of the deceased. Next up is JNK. Efforts continue to track down terrorists involved in attack on pilgrim bus in Riasi district. I mean, how ignorant do you have to be, to let these things happen every year? It's not like a one-off thing. It's not like this is for the first time a pilgrim bus carrying pagans, our pagans, you know, carrying them, and that bus has been attacked. It's not the first time. If you look it up on the internet, look it up on Google, how many instances of terrorists attacking pilgrim buses and pilgrim people, and you'll find that that list is too long, a little too long. So still the center is not not coming out of that slumber sleep that we like to call as secularism in our country. And yeah, so we continue to tolerate these attacks on our pilgrims. And so there is some relief. There is a national investigation agency, state investigation agency. They have visited the site. They are doing their detective things, whatever that it is that they do. And yep, so there are reports that four terrorists, including a local overground worker, were involved in the attack which was carried out on the direction of Lashkar-e-Taiba commander Abu Hamza. Okay, so yes, they are pretty much sure who ordered this hit. That was Lashkar-e-Taiba. It's not an NGO. Okay, LET. It might sound like an NGO, but it is not. It is a terrorist organization that undertakes such attacks, and it has done so in the past as well. This is not the first time they are doing it. So okay. So here is what happened. This is the mental picture that I can form after reading all the reports online. There was a terrorist. He opened fire on this bus, and there was a CISF personnel escorting those pilgrims, because we very well know. Okay, it is I would say a paradox of mysteries. Everyone knows it, but yet everyone behaves like you know it has nothing to do with religion. We obviously know it has to do something with religion. Okay, so there was this CISF personnel who was guarding those pilgrims. Okay, so you can understand, even the government knows the other side cannot be trusted. So there was a bodyguard for that bus, and some terrorist subscribing to the fundamentalist ideology opened fire on that bus. And yes, we know the bus lost control and it fell into a gorge. So 9 people died. Yeah. So such has been the case. It is a very interesting case study for you if you like to, if you like to unearth truth. If you are in that habit, you just go to the internet, Google from the past 50 years, how many terrorist attacks have been done on pilgrims, and you'll find out. Okay, you'll not have to go too far. So yeah, there is a sketch that these people have made that is doing rounds on social media, a sketch of the perpetrator. And there is somewhere close to 20 lakh rupees of bounty on his head that the authorities have put. So let's see if we can you know catch this person. Next up, we have, yes, the morale of the pilgrims, the morale of the pagan pilgrims is never on a low. So these are the statistics put out by the Akashvani department of the government, and it has said that more than 20 lakh devotees have visited in a month in the Uttarakhand Chardham Yatra. Okay, so these are main four pilgrimage destinations for the pagans. And yep, so there has been more than 20 lakh devotees. The footfall for this month in the state of Devbhumi, that is the God's own land. Okay, and yeah, so it has been more than 20 lakh. And yes, so if you would like to go into specifics, okay. The gates of Kedarnath Dham with Yamunotri and Gangotri Dham were opened on May 10, followed by Badrinath Dham on May 12 and Hemkund Sahib on May 25. It's an amazing, Hemkund Sahib is an amazing place to be. It's since there are more than 20 lakh devotees have visited the four dhams in just 1 month. Okay, so the breakdown for each individual temple is 7 lakh 85,000 have visited Kedarnath, Somewhere close to 5 lakh people have visited Badrinath, and somewhere close to 8 lakh pilgrims have visited Gangotri and Yamunotri in the Uttarkashi district. And somewhere close to 60,000 devotees have visited the Hemkund Sahib. Okay, so yeah, these are the statistics put out by the Akashvani Department of the National Government, and this is these days are considered to be summer vacations in schools as well. So parents, all the guardians are relatively free, and this is where they visit the Char Dham Yatra. Now, keep in mind this. The undertaking that majority of the pagans living in this part of the subcontinent, that they undertake the Char Dham Yatra. Okay, this exercise has been going on for centuries, as far back as time. I mean, so it's not a new phenomenon that has come up in very recent past. This has been going on since the time the human beings transitioned from hunter gatherers to people who enjoyed living in a civilized society. So yes, it has been close to 2 million people. This is approximately the number for many of the European countries, the population of European countries. Next up is Madhya Pradesh, the state of Madhya Pradesh, the central heartland of Bharat. Okay, they have undertaken some of the schemes to boost tourism in their state. All right, so Madhya Pradesh is a home to many of the pilgrimage and tourist spots such as Ujjain, Omkareshwar, Indore, Bhopal. Those inscriptions, where is that? The inscriptions from the Kama Sutra, they are engraved on one of the temples in Madhya Pradesh. I'm not able to recall the name right now, but it is an amazing temple. So yes, Madhya Pradesh is home to many of the tourist facilities. It has two Jyotirlings. Okay, one in Ujjain, another one as Omkareshwar. So yeah, so they are launching air taxis, that is helicopter service from Bhopal, Singrauli, Jabalpur, and Rewa. So yes, even the water resources front, including Kane Betwa link. So there are many multiple rivers, the tributaries and distributaries of Narmada and all the other significant rivers. So they are integrating all the modes of transportation. So they are launching helicopter service. They are launching boat services. Kudos to the state of Madhya Pradesh and its political leaders to display a political will to undertake such schemes. Right, these things help. Okay, these things help in capital regeneration. These things help in encouraging people to visit your state. So the more the footfall, the more the revenue generation for the government, and these revenue generations collected by the government will eventually come back to the citizens in the form of beneficiary schemes and whatnot. Okay, all the best, state of Madhya Pradesh. Next up is, yes, BJP has announced its chief minister candidate for the state of Odisha. Remember, Odisha underwent state legislature elections along with the Lok Sabha elections as well. So the ex chief minister, that is Naveen Patnaik, he has relinquished the post of chief ministership for the state of Odisha after 15 years. He has served 3 terms as chief minister for a state, and now people have put their faith behind a new face, or rather a new political party, that is BJP. New for them, I would say, not new political party. So the name of the chief minister of Odisha is Mohan Charan Majhi. Okay, he's not a new face. He might be a new face for a lot of you who are not who do not follow politics on a regular basis, but he has been an MLA in the state legislature for the years of 2000, 2004, 2019, and 2024. Okay, he's a four-time MLA from Keonjhar in Odisha. So the land of Jagannath has put in a new political party. They have put their faith behind a new political party, and the face of that political party in the state of Odisha is Mohan Charan Maji. So all the best for taking up this role, and let's see how well he is able to govern Odia people. Next up is UGC, that is University Grants Commission for higher education institutes to admit students twice a year from the next academic year. All right, usually in our country, we see as admissions are usually processed once in the entire academic year. Now, UGC has come out with a rule that says education institutes have to admit students twice a year, and this will take force from the next academic year, that is 25-26. Okay, so I'm reading the exact talking to Akashwani News, UGC chairman, that is University Grants Commission. This is the body that overlooks into all the higher educational institutes such as colleges, universities. Okay, so UGC chairman Professor M. Jagdish Kumar said that this decision will be very beneficial to the students who missed the admission due to various reasons and they had to wait for another year. He added that it will reduce the waiting time for enrollment and increase their motivation. Obviously, yes, sometimes when students they miss their admission and intake during certain time of the year, so they are left with no other option but to wait for another year when the admissions open again, and this wastes a lot of time, a lot of valuable time that they have. And now UGC has come up with a rule that will address this situation, so they'll not have to wait for too long. They will be able to utilize their time efficiently. So let's see, on paper this law sounds good. How well are they able to execute it, and how well uh, uh, is this law crafted to help all the other students? Hmm, what's up next? I have zero clue. Let's see. Yep. Okay. This was, I guess, this came out of the blue, this piece of information, because I exactly even wasn't aware such things go on. But yeah, there are things that you get to know on various platforms, and this is one of them. So get this. Okay. The aviation industry, the civil aviation industry, usually a company or an airline or an aviation company, they what they do is they take aircrafts on lease. Okay, they do not purchase these aircrafts. Obviously they purchase it, but they resell it and lease it from the person who bought those aircrafts. All right. So this has some bearing on the deeds that Russia has done after taking over Crimea and all the conflict that is going on the border areas of Russia and Ukraine. So when Russia overtook Crimea, what happened was there was a series of sanctions that were put on the state of Russia. And what this did was many of the planes belonging to the European companies, okay, many of the planes that were belonging to the European companies, they were prevented to leave Russia. Okay, and the country, okay, Ireland is the country where majority of the aircraft leasing industry is located. Okay, so in short, majority of the European airlines or majority of the European aviation companies, they lease their aircrafts from leasing companies in Ireland. Okay, now prior to Russia invading Ukraine, all these airlines were functioning very smoothly. Aeroplanes were going to Russia and our aeroplanes were coming back from Russia. But come in 2014, you know adventurism undertaken by the Russian forces, they took over Crimea and the series of sanctions started. And based on those sanctions and laws passed in various other European countries and including United States of America as well, now there are planes that belong to the European civil aviation companies that were leased from Ireland, but they are stuck in Russia due to sanctions. So those planes are not allowed to leave the airspace of Russia due to various sanctions. So now there is a court, there is there is a court case going on in the country of Ireland. Okay, let me just read. Okay, lessors are suing dozens of insurers around the world over losses of at least $8 billion after more than 400 planes were prevented from leaving Russia when Western sanctions over Moscow's war in Ukraine forced the termination of their leases. Okay. So I guess before putting on sanctions, you should weigh all the options, I would say. So now there are multiple companies. Some of the companies are SMBC and Avalon, BOC Aviation, CDB Aviation, Nordic Aviation Capital, and all these companies, majority of these companies are located in Ireland, and hence the case is being fought in Dublin. Okay, so this is a very big case. Majority of the aircraft leasers, lessors, leasers. I don't know how we say this, but yeah, people who lease aircrafts, they have gathered in Dublin, and let's see how it you know yes, how the case progresses. Insurers cannot agree on the meaning of their own policies and blah blah blah. So yeah, let's see. One very interesting thing is it's quite funny. Ireland does not have a big court. Okay, so this is the first time that they are, hosting a litigation on such a large scale. It has more than 180 legal professionals. So there are multiple parties, multiple companies. Each company will have its own legal representative, and the country of Ireland does not have a big enough court or a big enough judicial infrastructure where these hearings can take place without any hassle. So right now they are continuing in a makeshift court. Okay, as no courtroom in the country is large enough to accommodate 180 legal professionals expected to attend each day. All right. So even the makeshift court that they have made up for the made up specifically for this hearing, even that place is not enough. What is happening is they are filling up that room up until its maximum capacity, and what is happening is the remaining people who are not able to get a seat, they are sitting in a room besides it and attending the proceedings via a video link. So let's see how is the West able to tackle this problem of aircrafts. I think, yeah. Lessors have secured settlements with Russia totaling more than 2.5 billion for more than 100 jets with ownership transferred to Russian airlines. I guess an out of the court settlement would be nice because I don't see an end to this. Okay, next up is USA. USA bars. What is USA barring? USA bars imports from China footwear, seafood, aluminum firms over Uyghur labor. Okay, China as a communistic society has come up with a very efficient way of tackling Islamic fundamentalism. That is, you know, you keep them in check, for the lack of a better word. You have to keep these people in check because um, their ideology is quite radical and quite fundamentalist, and they are not seeking to coexist. Okay, they are seeking to exist as one single entity, meaning they want to proselytize everyone and exist as a one single entity. There is no coexisting with the Muslims. So United States bars imports from China footwear, seafood, aluminum forms over Uyghur labor. So let's see. The United States has added three more companies to a list that bars imports from firms allegedly involved in Uyghur forced labor in China, according to US government notice posted online on Tuesday. Okay, so yes, so there is a place in China that is Xinjiang, where there is a considerable Muslim population, and they are ethnic Uyghurs. Okay, so now they are not allowed to set up mosques. They are not allowed to. So there are multiple restrictions. I would say that borderline on human rights violations, but That is the policy that the Communist Party of China has come up with to keep in check the radical and fundamentalist Islam. And United States is, somewhat very worried about the policy of China in that specific domain, and it regularly keeps on banning substances. It regularly keeps on banning import of substances that are produced in this very specific um, province of China, and because they believe that it is, human rights violation. They are being forced to work. They are not allowed to profess their own religion. By all means, I'm like personally, don't have any animosity against their religion. It is the proselytizing component of their religion that is where I have a problem. Okay, so stop proselytizing, and then we can talk about coexisting. Okay, so yeah, the United States has banned the imports of goods that are produced in the provinces of Xinjiang, where Uyghurs are stationed. And it has also brought up, okay, scores of companies have been added to the Uyghur Forced Labor Prevention Act entity list, which restricts import of goods tied to what US government has characterized as ongoing genocide of minorities in China's western Xinjiang region. All right, USA. Okay, so yeah, so work has begun as usual. The elections are over. The prime minister was sworn in. The cabinet of ministers have taken their oath, and so now the business carries on as usual. All the ministers have started working. So very recently, post joining the office for the third term, for the second term, I would say, the foreign minister Subramanyam Jaishankar. I know all of you know who he is because of his witty one-liners and responses to those Western journalists. Okay, now here is what he has said. All right, China is a mega neighbor. Okay, it is a neighbor that is uh, large compared to Bharat in terms of land area, that is large, or I would say at par when compared to Bharat in terms of population, and it has a mega mammoth industrial capacity. So there are thriving trade relations between China and Bharat, and both parties need each other commensurately. It's not like we need China more than China needs us. So it's a relationship that is based on give and take, and one sticking point in an otherwise flourishing relationship is border disputes. Okay. The Communist Party of China has an expansionist approach towards its neighbors. Keep in mind, China has border disputes with all the 14 countries with which it shares a geographical boundary. And unfortunately, we are one of them. So the factual information is there is close to 3,800 kilometer of land border that we have with China, and it is poorly demarcated, meaning there is no agreement between both the parties as to where does my country end and where does your country start. Okay, now China has had a habit of unilaterally changing the lines, and such things cannot keep continuing. What China is doing is it is essentially keeping that dispute unsolved, because China understands if we solve that dispute, it will not have anything else as a bargaining chip to strong arm Bharat into tiptoeing its line on foreign policy. Okay, so it has been dilly dallying on the negotiation. It has been, you know, deliberately stalling the negotiations, and they know once they clearly demarcate the line of control and line of actual control, they will not have any bargaining chip left. So this is the statement that has come from, you know Subramanyam Jayashankar after joining his new term. Is his exact words. Let me just quote his exact words. With regards to China, there are still some issues at the border, and our focus will be on how to solve them. Okay. So I guess this indicates a positive mindset, a positive approach towards solving the border issues that we have, or where we have been having for more than 50 years with the state of China. And yes, once we resolve those situations, then we can think about how we take this relationship forward. Up until then, we are underutilizing this immense capacity that China and Bharat both have. If they sort out these disputes and disagreements and focus on economic development, there are multiple research papers written on these things. You can Google it and find out how exactly, if Bharat and China, if they join hands, how can they, you know, dominate the world order. But due to border disputes, we are not able to take this thing forward. Just a second. Okay. Yeah, these things happen. I can't help them. All right. With regards to Pakistan, there was. Mm, okay. Yeah, with respect to Pakistan, I guess the foreign policy people are waiting for the other side to take some positive steps, some concrete positive steps. I would say some of the ministers from the Pakistan Parliament and even Nawaz Sharif, the ex Prime Minister, they did not formally congratulate. I would say they engaged. They congratulated the Prime Minister, that is Modi, on social media platform that is X. Okay, so this isn't signaling anything. I wouldn't say this is any development, any positive development, because anybody can take to X and post something. So yeah. Okay, this is something for which you will have to look at the map of Finland. All right, let's see how can I do this. This is this is an interesting piece of information, and I think you should really see this. I hope this is visible. Okay, so just to give you a brief summary of this is the headline. Finland scrambles to close new migrant route via Europe to Russia. Okay, now let's go to the map. Okay, if you look at this map, on the right hand side we have Russia, and on the left hand side we have Finland over here. This is Finland, this is Russia. Now this is a long land border that Russia is having with Finland. Okay, now for those of you who do not follow international politics and are enjoying the content that we are making by reacting to the headlines, but sometimes you will need some contextual information to make sense of the headlines. So here is some contextual information. A couple of years ago, there was this migrant crisis that came up on the Belarus border. Okay, Belarus is a country in the eastern part of Europe. It shares a border with Russia. It also shares a border with Poland. Okay, so many of the migrants from West Asian countries such as Syria, Iran, Iraq, they wish to escape from their country for obvious reasons. Nobody wants to live over there with such inhumane laws and such administrations. Okay, but that is a topic for another video. But right now, and so there was a previous crisis named as Belarus migrant crisis. So Russia was accused to connive with Belarus and send a lot of illegal immigrants into Europe through Belarus and through Poland. Okay, now we don't exactly know whether this was a politically cooked up crisis, or was it really a crisis, or if it indeed were a real crisis, who was the one who started it. Okay, so yes, if you look at it in the context of the recent migration or immigrant problems that Europe is having, be it UK, be it France, be it Germany, be it even Denmark, be it Poland, all not Poland. Poland has been immune to a certain degree. Okay, so all these countries, they have been having an immigration problem. Okay, so what the West thinks is that Russia is doing this deliberately to, topple the governments, to topple the societal order, to instigate violence and riots in the heartland of Europe, in the developed countries of Europe. And this is again an allegation. So get this. The West continuously accuses Russia of using immigration as a tool. They have weaponized immigration and trying to destabilize the countries of the West. That is the so once all the other routes are closed, now Finland has come up with this narrative that since it shares a large uh, since it shares a large land border with Russia is trying to open up another front, and it is trying to precipitate another crisis similar to the Belarus migrant crisis on this border. Okay, and this is what Finland is accusing. And very recently, there are also some of the migrants who were caught on those, caught on the border, and yeah. So let's see how this crisis unfolds. Okay, last year Finland shut all the crossing points for travelers along its 1400-kilometer border with Russia indefinitely after some 1300 migrants from nations such as Syria and Somalia arrived via that route. Okay, so countries that are constantly in a state of war, such as Syria, Somalia, and all those West Asian countries such as Iraq. Okay, so these immigrants, they are flooding the land of Europe, and it is said that it is Russia. It is facilitating their inflow into the continent of Europe to destabilize the Western countries and use it as an advantage to take over the world order. Okay. Yes, obviously, without evidence, this is just a good story, a good theory, but this is what the West thinks. And on top of that, Finland was offered NATO membership. So keep in mind the main friction point that Russia has with Ukraine and why it is undertaking such an aggressive measures on the border areas with Ukraine is Ukraine was offered a NATO membership. So one of the red lines for Russia is if any of the geographical land neighbor of Russia, if they are offered NATO membership, they will take it as a direct sign of aggression. So this has been the red line of Russia. Finland has been offered NATO membership, and hence again a migrant crisis are brewing up on the Russia-Finland border. Okay. Okay. So yes, relations with Moscow, once relatively cordial, have deteriorated sharply since Finland's decision to join NATO following Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Okay, yes. Finland has obviously joined NATO, and let's see how you know, this crisis precipitates or this crisis unfolds on this border state and in these border countries. Russia, however, has countered this narrative by saying it is a provocation from the side of NATO. Okay. And the exact statements are from the Russia's Federal Security Service, Vladimir Kulishov. Okay, these are his exact words. He has said, "We believe that the deliberate provocation of a migrant crisis on Russia-Finnish state border is necessary for Finnish authorities to implement the plans of NATO, and above all, the United States to deploy military field infrastructure and deploy foreign troops on their territory, including areas bordering Russia." Okay, so now Russia is of the opinion that since they are portraying this event, and we don't know, is it self engineered or is it done by Russia, or we don't exactly know, but from the perspective of Russia, it is they think that this has been engineered by the NATO people, so they can use this as an excuse to deploy NATO soldiers on Russia Finland border. So these are the perspectives from both the sides. So it's lonely, uh, you know, only time will tell how these things will unfold. Okay. Up next is Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden, the son of the president of United States, that is Joe Biden, has been convicted on the count of illegally possessing a firearm. Okay, so get this: whenever you want to buy a firearm in the United States, you need to declare that you are free from using any drugs. You are not a compulsive user of drugs. And guess what? Hunter Biden, the son of the POTUS, lied on the form while applying for a weapon, where indeed it has been proven that he was using drugs at the point of time when he applied for a firearm, and he has been convicted. And all his lawyers, they have said that they would vigorously pursue all the legal challenges available to Hunter. Okay, so yeah, in the United States it is quite easy to fake these details and get your hands on firearms. No wonder we see shooting instances very frequently in the country that is United States. Okay, all right, yes. So keep in mind over here, two of the topmost forerunners for the upcoming United States election. One is Donald Trump, obviously a Republican. He also has been convicted on, let's see how many counts. I guess it was, uh, where did it go? Yes, okay. So Trump, he has been convicted on 34 felony counts. Majority of them are related to tax issues in his business. Some of them are related to alleged cover up of a sex scandal that he had with an individual named Stormy Daniels. So Trump, one of the forerunners from the Republican side, he has also been convicted. If you go to the Democratic side, so the son of the topmost forerunner has been convicted of illegally possessing firearms. So yes, on both the sides there has been some conviction related to you know criminal prosecutions. Let's see how the Americans vote in the upcoming elections. It will be interesting to see. All right, so that's about it for today, and I'll see you guys in the upcoming video. Thank you.